All right. Welcome to 5 Days a Stranger. My name's Raqus. With me is the voice of Dog.
Hey, what's up?
Not a lot. It's a very nice spring day outside. And tonight, we have something potentially very rewarding in store. So this is the first game in a cycle called the Chuzo Mythos, which is, I'd say it's haphazardly stealing from H.P. Lovecraft, but everything Lovecraft is haphazardly stealing from H.P. Lovecraft, so it doesn't really matter.
It's a pretty okay rip-off of H.P. Lovecraft, though.
Yeah, I enjoy it. But like most of what we think of as Lovecraftian horror is people who took his work and then changed it later on. First big choice. Do we want author commentary on or off?
Let's do the pure experience.
Okay. Pure game. Day one. So what we have here is an abandoned estate house. Our masked thief Trilby has come here because the patriarch of the house, the current inheritor, has just committed suicide and the house is going up for auction. And why not steal a bunch of shit before it gets sold? This is built in old AGS, which does not have the most refined of GUIs, but down here we've got a walk function, examine, use, and talk to. They are very finicky. They get better as the games go on.
I forget, did this one have a text parser, or was that a later one?
No, the third game is a text parser. The rest of them are all point and click.
Okay.
One of the fun little Easter eggs. It's a door.
Ah, yes.
It's another door. Because in an interview, or maybe on a podcast or something, I remember hearing Yahtzee talking about this game. He has a distaste for when they don't use these sorts of tertiary text boxes to do anything useful, where it's a door, just very like utilitarian. And
right.
So this is. Have I already told you about the girl who had a door just like that?
Yeah, this goes on for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it is
Anyway, she left me for Jim Morrison, which was unfortunate.
It's a shame. And then he died, and then Oliver Stone made that movie. Well, fine.
Well, that's weird.
This was supposed to be a simple burglary.
So, the only thing in our inventory is our grappling hook.
And this man is very scared of our grappling hook.
We are wearing a mask, aren't we?
Yes. So, a character who values his identity being kept secret and his privacy takes the mask off almost immediately. That's just don't look at it. Don't and it doesn't exist.
Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, no, that's just you don't got it. It's all good. All of these doors are locked, I believe, except for this last one over here. Now, if I've seen horror movies, I know that behind this curtain there's... Damn. Also love the mirror that looks like a steel plate bolted to the wall. So...
Oh, these stairs are really hard to navigate, aren't they?
Yeah, this was something that gave me a pain in the ass the first time I played it. It's very finicky getting down these damn stairs. The trick is you gotta click in the black underneath it because that's still a clickable area somehow. Can't get out the front door. Oh, this is another fun one. We're gonna be coming back to this room quite a bit because this is day one. Every day, this painting we're gonna come take a look at it because it's got some neat stuff going on.
Sylvie immediately is like, well, this thing's worthless. Clarence Defoe. And Julia Defoe. Found dead in the manor.
It's quiet as a tomb. Oh, hey, a friend.
Hey.
Hey, buddy.
Oops.
Also, this fella here, whose name we'll learn in a bit, Philip Hardy. The reason he has his hands in his pockets like that. If you get a chance, going through the creator commentary is kind of interesting for these games. I like that behind the scenes sort of stuff. And yeah, the reason he has the hands in his pockets is because it's easier to animate, so you don't have to do any kind of arm swing or anything. His arms are stationary the whole time. And other characters have similar conceits.
Monkey Island animation, this is not.
No. Philip is not Stan by any stretch.
So, what we have here is a group of people who have gradually been trapped here over the last few days.
Yes. We have Jim, Simone, and AJ. They've all come into the house and can't leave. So we should go track them all down and have a house meeting. Stock door sound effect. I think everybody should have a room like this in their house.
What, a taxidermy room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To show off your trophies from all of your manly exploits.
I don't want any trophies.
I like trophies. I wonder if they're going to re-release 5 Days to Stranger with achievement support. So the rifle, we can pick it up, but it's too heavy to do anything with or take with us.
Yeah, I remember that. We can't do anything with the rifle at all.
So anything we want to do with that has to be done in this room. We have a tiger head. I like that. I like that he probably shot the tiger while he was sleeping and then had the taxidermist make it look more ferocious.
Ugh. I'm not a fan of taxidermy, I guess.
I mean,
I don't have anything against it. It's just it just fills me with a sense of disgust.
Well, which is weirder, the taxidermy, the big game hunter kind, or the my Schnookums I couldn't bear to separate from Schnookums the cat, so I had him stuffed and I'm going to keep him in the living room forever kind.
I hate both for different reasons. Right? I can't really I can't rate those because I hate them both.
So the whispering sound is definitely stock. There's a recording somewhere. I've listened to a lot of Yahtzee talking about his own work because, again, I like that behind-the-scenes kind of stuff. One of the reasons that they can't really re-release these as commercial products is because he stole a lot of the sound assets from Half-Life specifically. And,
really?
Yeah. And Valve could... It just wouldn't be... It's just not a good idea. They're out there. They're free. You can just have them. But there's no need to... There's no need to try to tempt fate with that. We have a bell jar with a hideous-looking wooden idol. Of no import, I'm sure. Stop whispering. Yeah, the bulk of the game, fortunately, is And I think I remember even like playing this originally. I thought the background music was really overpowering.
Yes, that's kind of traditional for these AGS.
They aren't the most polished of experiences. The old sea captain. Bearded man in an explorer's outfit, Sir Roderick Defoe. So we have Clarence Defoe, the recently dead current inheritor of the house, and Sir Roderick. Here's another fun little fact. People apparently on the AGS forums back in the day got really upset about this. How do 5 people spend a week in a house without food?
It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you can go 5 days without food. It ain't pleasant. There's no one. There's I don't think there's anywhere saying there's no running water.
Okay, we have flour,
Salt. Lethal quantities of salt. That's what they ate. That gets addressed in the second game as kind of a petty, like, fine, you want answers? I'll give you answers. Like any good fucking adventure game, pick up any garbage you find along the way. There's a swimming pool. And a lawn full of holes. Congratulations, you've seen -1 room the entirety of the game. -2 rooms. Maybe 3. Good 80% of the game. So the concept being that it was, rather than like a big, wide, expansive adventure, wanted to see what you could do with a small, isolated location in over the course of several days. And there is a ravine on the other side of this wall that we're somehow aware of, so we can't even try to escape that way. And if I remember, isn't this the part that's really flaggy?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Because I think... Nope, not yet. Here we go again. So you played all of the, you played, there she is. Hold that thought.
Yeah, very discreet. Gentleman thief, Trilby.
Yes, yes. Let's do a live interview right now, especially under these circumstances. Like, you're very well adjusted considering you've been here for 4 days. I would have long since gone feral at that point. Another fun little thing is that because of the resolution, and the walk speed is constant either way, walking left and right and walking up and down are two very different beasts.
Let's see.
It doesn't affect anything. It's just kind of funny to me. Okay, now that we've gotten Simone, now we can go talk to a tree. And I believe this is where I got hung up really heavy the first time I played it. Sir Clarence Defoe, last of the long-running Defoe line, was found dead yesterday in his home. Defoe, 24, was found hanging from a tree in the front yard of Defoe Manor. His recent bride, Julia Swanson Defoe, was also found dead in the mansion, apparently stabbed to death.
Completely routine rich person murder-suicide.
Happens all the time.
Manse.
You'd be bored, too, with all that affluenza.
That's true. I would be.
Yeah. Inspector Jacob Barnes, the officer in charge of the investigation, has closed the case. There's no mystery here, he said. Defoe killed his wife and then himself. We have already disproved the possibility of a third party. Sir Clarence's solicitor, Michael Cheetham, however, has gone on the record questioning that the inspector's judgment. The last I saw of Sir Clarence, he was infinitely content. He would have never committed such an act, plus there was no suicide note. Transatlantic translation, solicitor is lawyer, basically. All right, we've been everywhere. We've looked at everything. So help me. I've hit... Nope. Oh, wait a minute, maybe... There we go. That's the thing. You have to use the tree to talk to the tree. Hey, buddy.
There's some animation.
A little bit. Oh, yeah, he's not opposed to doing work. He just cuts corners a lot.
Right.
Until he doesn't, because if you look at some of his later projects, there's some strange
Oh, yeah, there's a
amount
lot more
effort.
animation in there.
If these go well, I was thinking maybe doing some Consuming Shadow at some point. That is an interesting fucking game.
Yeah, that's the roguelike one.
Yeah. That is sort of a follow-up to this. It's an unofficial sequel to this little series. Alright, so. We got Phil, we got Simone, we got Jim. The meeting's not in this room, I'm a fool. It's in the comfy room. Oh yeah. Get used to that squeak. All right. Summing up the premise of the game. Why would AJ run off like that? Okay. Who do we interrogate first?
Well, let's just go down the line.
All right. Hey, Jim. You seem nice. So this is another fun little thing I learned from the commentary, but the way you build conversation trees in AGS, you can't rearrange the items. So if you design, a list of questions and then want to put the back out option at the bottom, then you're not allowed. You can't add anything more without having the back out in the middle. So he decided to leave it at the top. So your very first option is always going to be, I'm done talking now. And then, so he would have free room to add as much as he wanted below that, like in perpetuity.
Jim is here for a dumb reason.
It was a dare. It was a double dog dare.
It was a dumb reason. You should be here to steal things. At least that would, support your lifestyle.
We have 2 different flavors of stealing. And 3 if you want to count intellectual property. It was a dare. And then he dared me to go into the door. Yeah, that's there were some children's games that were just like, hey, let's see if we can almost not injure ourselves. Anyone ever play Red Rover?
Yes.
How is that any different than like, hey, let's clothesline our friends? Let's learn a little bit about Jim as a person. So Jim is just the most charming young man who's maybe a little too naive for his own good.
He's a regular fucking kid and doesn't belong here.
What does Phil know about the mansion? Yeah, that's a magazine. Oh, good. I've always wanted Treasure Hunting Monthly.
Cool.
Yeah,
You're here stealing shit.
Yeah, there's a reason Indiana Jones and Lara Croft and Nathan Drake and those types tend to go to like old ancient civilizations. It's cuts through a lot of legal red tape. I'd like to think that, unbeknownst to them, Trilby and Philip use the same fence. Like, they have the same underworld contacts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet there's a lot of overlap.
do you know about the mansion? How did you come to be here? Okay. So, theoretically, Simone's got a whole team full of people that are out there and know where she is because she was on assignment.
And yet, we're stuck in here.
And Jim has got a school with administrators, and parents, and all sorts of people that it would look very bad if a 16-year-old boy just disappeared on their watch. Phil's a piece of shit, and he doesn't count. But he's probably got somebody waiting for their cut.
That's a good question. How exactly are we trapped?
Doors won't open. Windows are sealed. Nothing. The usual ways of leaving a building just don't work. Eldritch nonsense. Yes.
Yeah, that might be it. It's that, but it's also like the doors and windows are sealed and they can't open them.
Like, the first thing we did in the game was open a safe. It was empty. We tried to leave the way we came, and oh no, the window's shut. And we tried the front door. Front door don't work. We can get into the backyard, but that's got a big fence around it. I think before we even got to the graveyard, literally the first thing we did in the game, before the graveyard area, I think that Big Brother is having to step up its game. I think I'm the 4,000th person to
make spook houses instead of like surveillance houses.
Yeah, I have now put myself as like number 4,000 in the annals of people who have made that joke. Oh, I forgot that the game also actually makes that damn joke.
Yeah, game actually is like, well, what if this is just reality TV? That's plausible. Are you saying it's not? Fuck
Could
you.
be.
Do you know what year it is? Now?
Man,
Then?
it's
still prescient.
You think reality TV is bad? You should look up the ones you never see. Like, you should go do some Googling, find some unaired pilots. There is a lot of bad shit.
We watched that quarantine show. That was pretty bad.
My personal favorite thing, day 2. Boom. Day 1's done. So that was a whole day. That's 1/5 of our time just taken care of.
What was that noise?
Well, that simplifies everything. Gasp. That sure did escalate pretty quickly. Let's say I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix at this point, but when I lived in England, I watched a a miniseries that was airing at the time called Dead Set. It's about a zombie outbreak during Big Brother's like end of the season celebration party. And the only safe place to hide from the zombies is the Big Brother house.
Yay.
It has all of the Big Brother contestants, past and present, in the story. They're there for the party, and it's just the actual people who were on the show in past years. They are the first wave of people to get bitten, so they all turn into like the wave of zombies that the current contestants are fighting off. It's very silly. Oh yeah, it is definitely a comedy. The current contestants, in air quotes, are just whatever sketch and stand-up comedians they could get at the time to play those parts. Yeah, it's really funny. It's about 4 hours long. It's a miniseries, and like I said, I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix right now. So day 2, Simone's made her way into the library. All right, well, that's not admissible in court, so... Remember, we still haven't actually found AJ aside from when he saw us and ran away. Mm-hmm. So these books are all broken up into different clickable objects. So these green ones up here are the encyclopedia. So are the red ones. This is the very multi-volume Oxford English Dictionary. That'll be handy later. When the game has decided it's available to us.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So we got architectural plans for the mansion. That'll be handy later. Photo albums. Really well-known noble families. That might be handy later. The digest of the visual arts. What would that be doing here? Seems a bit modern. P.G. Wodehouse. More P.G. Wodehouse. It's I believe she's a children's author. Photography, cartooning, and watercoloring. Again, a little modern, odd.
Yeah, there's a bunch of visual stuff here.
Yeah, which I never noticed these here before, and that is some interesting details. I like that. For reasons
there's
that
some foreshadowing going on here.
Somebody might be needing some different kinds of books than what one would normally keep in a manor library. These doors, I believe, are still not open. Nope. All right. Well, notice the painting has gone a little gray.
Oh, yeah. Neat. Isn't that what Simone said?
What was that?
Simone was like, I didn't open the door. Maybe AJ did.
Yeah, I mean, if she didn't open it, and I
Okay,
didn't
so
open
nobody opened the door. Gotcha.
it, the door opened itself. You know, it happens sometimes. In this mysterious house that we can't leave and we're all having shared dreams. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure corporal punishment's not a thing you can do in schools anymore. Yeah, I'd hope so. He's talking to Mr. Trill. There we go. So, yeah, it looked like his head was facing upstage of the camera. Probably just another way to not have to animate. Just another way to cut a corner. Fridge is still empty. Fridge is still empty.
It is not suddenly full of ghost food.
Man, I would be so down for some ghost food, though. I don't even know what that means, but...
It's not very filling. Very low on the sustenance meter.
I love this. Phil just have us a goddamn fucking metal detector. I'm glad you brought that with you. I assume you brought that with you. Either that or he found the 3 colored gems to open the puzzle lock in the tool shed. I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil lately.
Yeah, fair.
My partner actually commented on, like, why do they have so many weird puzzle locks on all the doors? I'm like, oh, that goes back a long way. You don't even know.
Yeah, they've been trying to explain that away for forever.
One of these days I'll play 2, and you can ask why they do this weird shit in the police station where people work.
As it used to be an art museum.
And yeah, I love how these people just, like, despite the circumstances, nah, Phil's still looking for treasure.
Shit.
Simone's still, like, looking for, dirt for her story. Jim is just content to be a child in a world that doesn't care what he thinks. Also, just make a little mental note of surnames in the back of your head. Philip Hardy and Simone Taylor. If you stick around for the full run of these games, those names are going to come back up later on.
Yeah, I remember that.
Would gold and silver get pinged by a metal detector?
I mean, gold and silver are both metals. I don't know if they're the metals that those devices are made to detect.
I'm pretty sure it only picks up ferrous metals, and gold and silver are non-ferrous. But I could be wrong.
You mean like metallic things, or what?
Like iron.
I'm sorry, I meant to say magnetic things.
Oh, yeah. So, we want to borrow Phil's metal detector, but he's using it. We can have it when he's done with it, but he needs to find the tomb that's buried somewhere on the mansion grounds before he'll part with it.
Okay. Well, do we have those plans?
The library has some plans.
Yeah, plans.
Yeah, plans that I could have had with me, but Trilby didn't know he needed them, so the game wouldn't let me take them.
Oh, I see.
So now that I know I might need them, now I can go get them. The game's gonna fuck with you a couple of times. I should point out, I don't know about how metal detectors work. I failed chemistry. I could very much be wrong. Okay, now we have the plans. Article. Oh yeah, we never read the article. This is what Phil gave us from Treasure Hunting Monthly. Defoe Manor, one of the country's more notorious stately homes, is renowned for being a great source of untold wealth. But what is the curse that surrounds the creaking house? The mansion was built in the early 19th century by the legendary explorer Roderick Defoe in celebration of his retirement and marriage, because it's a good thing to be doing both of those at the same time.
Yeah,
I guess, Sir Roderick disappeared along with his only son on the 15-year anniversary of his wife's sudden death.
Time for me to settle down at the ripe old age of probably 27.
After that, the house fell into the possession of a succession of heirs, most of whom died or disappeared in mysterious circumstances. The house was left abandoned after the last heir was thought to have died in 1946, until the recent appearance of Clarence Defoe, who managed to prove his connection to the lineage and inherit the house. And then he hung himself and killed his wife.
Had a normal one, just like his ancestors.
How you do. It's the family tradition.
Yes, does your family have a history of murder-suicide?
Well, as a matter of fact... Oh, I guess I should show off why this works. So the plans that we can now get is a very old architectural plan of the manor, with the underground tomb clearly marked under the front yard.
Yes.
And there's something that doesn't quite belong. Can you spot the mistake?
Yeah.
Anybody ever read highlights as a child?
I did.
We'll come back to that. But
Goofus could not point out the mistake. Galleon's like, it's here, you fucking moron.
Servodon's got an answer for us. Metal detectors emit an electromagnetic field and try to detect a response. It's easier to find iron, but they can detect most metals. Oh, okay.
Cool.
Now we know how. So yeah, I guess maybe gold. I guess gold and silver would pick up.
Yeah, I figured they would because otherwise, then people wouldn't bring them to beaches and try to beachcomb.
Well, I know what I'm doing is my retirement plan. All right, so we show Phil the map.
You're doing it wrong, asshole.
You're in the wrong place. They're digging in the wrong place. Hey, dog. Bad dates.
But this is the backyard.
It's very easy to find Ireland. Yeah, I stumbled over my words and it sounded like Ireland.
I can't say consonants today, so it's you know.
I feel like being stuck inside as much as I am, I'm not like at work and I'm not talking to people, so my mouth is forgetting how to do its thing that it does.
I'm streaming most days, but I still can't do it right. It's weird. I mean,
It's okay. More of this whiskey will help my problem. So what do we need this metal detector for? Following this pipeline, obviously. I can't tell you. I can't tell you what path of logic I went on that like let me figure it out, because I don't think there was a walkthrough for this game at the time when I first played it.
I don't know. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're following the pipe with the metal detector?
Yep. And it led us along this line to this spot here, which we have now uncovered a panel buried in the backyard that didn't do anything. Hooray. Thanks, Phil. You worthless piece of shit. Oh, never mind. It drained the pool.
You've saved us, Phil.
Yay! You lost what was possibly our only supply of water. Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, jeepers. Close up on throat. Now, would he have smelled? He would have been at the bottom of a pool, which I assume is chlorinated.
I don't know. Yes? Yes. Let's just say yes.
Okay. The killer must be one of us. Or possibly Jim. Phil's awfully defensive. Yep, that's a rational assumption. Everyone's against me. Stomp, stomp, stomp. So, Trilby has always, to my mind, been portrayed as one of those Sherlock Holmesian type-y characters. Oh, hold that thought. That freaked me the fuck out the first time it happened. Day 3. Yeah. So he's always struck me as one of those people that's just supposed to be like gets by on this unerring sense of logic and discipline, and he just jumps immediately into like, well, must be ghosts. Can't think of a different explanation. No other possibility.
Body at the bottom of the pool. It's like, how the fuck did that happen? None of us noticed that.
I couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. He couldn't do that. Fucking ghosts. But we do need to start looking more into the history of the house. And conveniently, was it this one? Maybe it was this one. Only a ghost could do a crime. Oh no, those are this PG Wodehouse. There's this gardening. There we go. It's the bottom one down there. Let's learn what we can about the family. Volume 7. Jeez. It's very, very well-read family. Roderick Defoe, later Sir Roderick Defoe, is probably the most famous of the lineage, using a lot of the inheritance he attained. When his parents died suddenly, he embarked on a series of adventures throughout the globe, earning quite a reputation as a colonial explorer. He retired from adventuring at the age of 40. 40? Not 27, but still, okay. When he met his future bride, Belinda Rothman, and fell instantly in love, he built a luxury manor in the English countryside, and the couple moved in as soon as work was complete. By all accounts, the couple were deliriously happy, which is what made Belinda's sudden death while giving birth to their only son, Matthew, all the more tragic. Sir Roderick was in mourning for a long time, leaving the upbringing of Matthew in the hands of numerous nannies and tutors. When he finally did start taking an interest in his son, he was known to be bitterly disappointed, as his son rejected the idea of joining the army, preferring to pursue art and literature.
No, not art.
No, I won't have one of them as a son. As Matthew neared the age of 15, however, he and his father seemed to grow closer. They didn't always see eye to eye, but they seemed to understand each other and offer unconditional love. Aww. And then, on Matthew's 15th birthday, he and Roderick disappeared. A servant found bloodstains in one of the rooms, and no bodies were found. The fate of Sir Roderick and his wayward son remains a mystery to this day. The first of many mysterious disappearances connected to the Defoe line and the family house. No son of mine's gonna make anime. Yeah, so, Stompin' Llama brings up that Trilby makes kind of a perfect Lovecraftian protagonist, and yes, we're not gonna get there in this game.
We'll get way more Lovecraft there later on.
There is, yeah, well, very much so. Look forward to it. So, Yeah, this game was originally just made... It wasn't made to launch a franchise. It was just, here's a neat little idea for a haunted house type situation I've got that later gets retrofitted into something much bigger. Painting. Much grayer and big bushy beard. Oh, and other painting. That one's fine today. Actually, something I should have done on day 2, and I forgot, but it's fine because it doesn't do all that much, but is worth checking out just because it is of interest. The solicitor was found dead in his office. The news report has a different story every day.
Yeah, son, you need to get a bunch of PTSD, then you can do your art. There's no art without pain, right, son? Right? That's exactly if you had an old-fashioned, explorer, rich white guy explorer dude who had all these ideas about having his son join the army and all that. At least you probably felt like you could inspire it.
Yeah, well, you know that oh, my son wants to be one of them artists, huh? Well, here, you should read Ernest Hemingway. Go get you some Hills Like White Elephants, and that'll learn you how to art. So the solicitor's dead. The BBC is aware that Simone's missing. And Phil, I'm sure, is just as pleasant as ever. Yep. Yeah. Feeling any better? No. For me, one of the most satisfying moments in Mass Effect is when they give you the option to punch that reporter in the face.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish they let me do that in all video games. Not the best defense. Let me renegade interrupt Phil. Bop. Anybody outside? What? The ghost brought it in.
That's really nice of them.
Super, super helpful. I have my own ghost valet. Do. Nothing unusual about that. Also, I didn't bother to check my pockets before I went to break into the house. Well,
Yeah,
conveniently,
masked guy gets out of the car. Day 4.
bam! Ah!
That's how some of these cuts feel, but this game does pretty okay with their spooky cuts.
For the limited limited amount of resources they had to work with, Yahtzee managed to do some pretty interesting stuff in a very bare bones program. Pick the lock, but it's still broken. What's even more interesting is if there is a sort of a no. There is a prequel, kind of, to this game called The Art of Theft, which is more of a stealthy, sneaky, get all the loot and get out of the building without getting caught kind of game, like Thief.
Yeah, it's a stealth game like Master Spy.
Yeah, even better. Also made in AGS.
Master Spy was made in AGS?
No, Trilby The Art of Theft was made in AGS.
Oh. Okay, I was gonna say, that's because, yeah, never mind.
In fact, if you've played Gunpoint,
yeah, I'm familiar with that one.
It is Gunpoint. It is the game that directly inspired Gunpoint. Hey, this window opens. I've tried a couple of his 12 games in 12 months. They are my cosmic horror preference is showing, but the game about Eric Zahn is pretty fun. Where you have to stay up all night playing a violin to soothe the cosmic horrors on the horizon.
Huh.
It's interesting. I haven't, Okay. Relevant. So the door to the next room over is deadbolted from the other side. We have a shingle here that's loose. And it's not... I think if you look at it, maybe... There we go. Grappling hook launcher made to look like an umbrella. We could swing over off of this tile, but we would smack right into that tree trunk. So we got to find us a way to get that tree out of the way. Yeah, I would go look up Trilby The Art of Theft. I don't think I'm going to play that one because A, it doesn't really relate to the cosmic horror or the overarching aspect of what I, think is the core of this series, and B, I'm not very good at it.
Right.
So it would just be you watching me fail for a while, and that's not fun. For me, anyway. Might be hilarious for y'all. But yeah, Trilby and the Art of Theft, definitely worth... I don't know where you would find them anymore. They used to be available on his websites. And they might still be. It would be at fully... Here, I'll put it... I can't. I'll put it in later. It's fullyramblomatic.com is what it used to be. I don't know if that's still a thing. Last time I checked, it was... Oh, I just kind of went on autopilot there. So yeah, the door to the tool shed was locked. Now we can unlock it. Which I guess would have made sense to do when we first got the picks. But here we are. Alright, we have a pickaxe. And we have a saw. And an empty cupboard. So you'd think that the go-to would be take the saw, cut down the tree. but it's one of them big fancy 2-person woodcuttery type saws, which I've never used and scare the hell out of me just thinking about it. Oh yeah, that also reminds me. Have we discovered where the unusual floor, the thing that doesn't belong is? If this is the front hall, then this is the dining room, this is the backyard, and this is the kitchen, then what's this?
Here's Trilby.
Yes. This is the completely wholesome room of totally good Christian things.
Ah, yes, the faith room where the prayer goes on.
This is how you prove your benevolence. Purge your sinful body.
So is anybody blind in chat on this game? Or on this series of games?
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to play coy for the benefit of, not spoiling it for anyone who doesn't know.
Well, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of Lovecraft, but we've been talking about it a bit. So I'm just kind of curious as to, like, how jarring this is going to be when it does actually happen. Koidzor's blind.
Koidzor's blinds. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple of people.
Alright, you're in for a trip, friends.
So wait, what do we do now that we found the faith room?
We've got to open this door. But in order to do that, we got to get in from the other side, which means we got to swing off the tile, which means we got to cut down the tree. But to cut down the tree, we need someone to help us, and I can't find Simone, and Phil's a dick, so let's get the 16-year-old. He just shouts. To be fair, that's kind of what I'd be doing in this situation, but I'd be a lot less coherent about it. You want to help? Come with me. You look like you got a strong set of arms. By the way, lumberjacking is one of the most dangerous jobs you can have, still to this day.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I feel like that, maybe being a firefighter.
I saw an art exhibit at a gallery a few months back. There was a bunch of photographs of a logging crew and printouts of interviews with the people in the photographs next to it. And one of them, like a lot of them were just surly looking grizzled old dudes. And one of them just specifically said, I took this job to get away from people. Leave me the fuck alone. Like that was the whole interview. But yeah, it is stupidly dangerous. So using one of these saws scares the hell out of me.
What if you're making music with it? How scary is it then?
Significantly less so. The odds
Yeah,
of...
when it's making spooky ghost noises.
Sure, the odds of a giant tree landing and crushing me into nothing are significantly lower in those circumstances. Where'd the tree go? Nobody knows. Don't think about it. Don't ask these questions. Oh god, yeah, firefighting in forest fight, like wildfire fighting in California. I was listening to This American Life, telling a story of a bunch of guys who came home one day and their neighborhood was on fire and everyone had left and they just spent all night fucking running around throwing water on stuff. That sounded terrible. Okay, so trees out of the way. Something stupid, Jim. Don't follow me. Thank you for your help. If I remember correctly, there's a fun little audio gag. I thought I remember it playing like a MIDI version of the Indiana Jones theme in my head, but maybe that's just in my... Maybe that's me editorializing. Okay, so this room was barred and sealed from the other side. And we got an easel and a canvas and a bed and a teddy bear. Where are we, boys and girls?
I have no idea. The mystery is unsolvable.
Well, let me blow your mind with the solving of mysteries. The easel and the canvas here would imply that this was a room of a painter, and Matthew was a painter.
Wait a second, it's all coming together.
And through all of that, we have ourselves a teddy bear. What do you think we should do next?
Did we talk to Simone?
We have not.
Are we supposed to?
I don't know where she is.
She's in the pool.
Oh, in the pool.
Yes, in
Right.
the pool.
Right.
Investigating the body.
Right. Down the ladder, inside the pool, where the body is. Right. Yeah, we triggered the music ghosts, and now it's just... Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe it is supposed to play the Indiana Jones theme, but I accidentally triggered the suspense music, and so now that's just not gonna let up. Hey, friend. Poking at this corpse. Okay. So AJ is apparently part of some sort of secret government agency. That's gonna come back into play. I don't know if they ever officially tie AJ to it when it does, but it just is. Word of God. Pretty big fella. large slashing weapon like a machete, and some leather. Do you know how hard it is to tear leather by hand?
It's kind of a tough material.
Here we go. Forgot to click on a thing, obviously. The Secret Diary of Matthew Defoe. June 28th, 1814. You may want to remember that date. It's going to come in handy later. Today is my 8th birthday. Nanny said I would soon be a big, strong man like my father. I wanted to see him today, but he wouldn't come out of his study all day. Nanny says he always gets cross on this day, but it's not because of me. August 5th, 1817. I found a new friend. He's behind the door in the kitchen, and he doesn't have a name. He likes me to sit and talk to him, but Father gets very angry when he finds me doing this. I asked Father...
behind the door.
Spooky. I asked Father who the boy behind the door was, but he told me there was no boy behind the door, and it was just a silly fantasy. May 24th, 1820. I showed Father the painting I finished. He said it was quite good, which is the best thing he's ever said. My father finally complimented me. Love me, Daddy. While he was in a good mood, I asked if I could go and look behind the door in the kitchen. He pretended not to hear me. June 28th, 1821. My father has done a terrible thing. All this time he pretended there was no boy behind the door, and now this. There's blood all over the kitchen floor. I will do what I can, and then we can be a family together and be happy. And that's where it ends. Boy behind the door. He put it on the fridge. So June 28th becomes an important date. Except later it just kind of arbitrarily gets changed to July 28th. Because. Just because. I think it's literally one of those things. He went to make the second game, he wrote July 28th because that's what he thought it was in the first game, and was wrong.
Oops.
Oopsie daisy. These things happen.
What about the ones on the right? The black ones?
Ah! Ah, damn it. Those are the books. He just can't think of a use. We're supposed to have the other book first. Missed a thing. Missed an item.
Yeah, we missed a diary.
Yep. And fuck. Pixels. There. Book. Missed book. Found book. March 5th, 1805. Work on the house is going well. It should be completed by the end of July. Belinda is already excited about the forthcoming wedding and spends many hours of the day going over even the smallest details over and over again. Not since our early courtship has she been so giddy with joy. It softens my heart to see her smile, and she smiles often. I am wondering why I didn't retire sooner. Everything's wonderful. August 12th, 1805. I am now only having the opportunity to write this, as it has been a most hectic day. The wedding went without a hitch, and the house was ready for us to move in as soon as the ceremony was over. Linda insisted on consummating our marriage immediately. I am sure, dear diary, this house can expect to hear the laughter of children before 1806 is out. February 14th, 1806. A romantic day for our announcement. The physician has just left confirming that Belinda is with child. A child we can expect to be born in June. We have already decided to name the child Matthew if a boy or Jane if a girl. June 28th, 1806. Belinda is dead. That escalated quickly. I will never forget her face, ash gray, contorted with pain. The child is healthy. Would that it had never come about and spared me this fresh hell. May 24th, 1820. That's sometime 15 years later. Matthew showed me the painting of the grounds he has created. I worry about the boy. Why can't he have healthier interests like soldiering? The painting was fair, I suppose, but I would rather my child be less of a weakling. June 28th, 1821. It is the anniversary of the night I unleashed a horror which I tonight shall remove from this world. May God forgive me. And that's the last.
Having a normal one.
There we go. There we go. Un singular pixel. Yay.
Time to get into some ghost shit, I think.
Maybe there's a book in the library that could help me. Boyakasha. Now we take the ghost book. I love how it's just like, it must be a ghost. I mean, gotta go to the library and find some helpful books on ghosts. And then the ghost book is there, and he's like, yeah, I could use a laugh. But actually, though, this is kind of hilarious how this works out. Finding a person from their possession. Tie the possession in question to a stick and dip it in salt. Next, wave it over the place where the subject sleeps. When you hold it in front of you, the object should now indicate in which direction the owner lies. And yes, every time I did this, it made me think of that magic blue orb from the dig.
Alright. Well, let's do some dowsing.
Yay. So we're trying to find Matthew's body, but what could we possibly use to douse Matthew's body? Take this bear. We tie it around this cord. We hang cord and bear from stick. We take bear on stick. We rub in salt. Hey, there's not enough meats on sticks. Certainly not salted ones. Come on, don't you want some jerky on a stick? Doesn't that sound great?
Nah, not my thing. You could knock out the wall like as soon as you get the pickaxe, right?
Yeah, you can knock the wall out whenever. I think you are meant to knock it down when you read Matthew's diary and he talks about like the boy behind the door in the kitchen, and that's when you're supposed to go, oh, there's some shit there. But the map also gives you a clue. indicating that there is someone there. Something there, rather. There's no one there anymore. But giving away the ghost, it's indicating to the left. It's indicating to the south. This is where it gets a little finicky. Southeast. Which is a real weird way to describe walking around a room. But from this perspective, I guess it's all that makes sense. It's pointing straight down. Alright, let's dig up the area. I said dig up the area. Two corpses. Well, that's unusual.
So who was burial? I don't know. We got distracted by something.
There's some corpses and, there's some stuff, and there's a loud smash. Somebody broke the... let me go clean this up. Hold on.
Yeah, we better do something about that.
You don't want broken glass around. It's not safe. Barbecue sauce. Day 4.
Day 4.
Bonk. Look, I know what it looks like. There's something fancy about that idol. The door's locked. I can see my car. This is another weird one, but this makes a little more sense than talking to the tree earlier.
We may have accidentally done something very awful.
We'll never touch idols with bare hands, as Koidzor points out. This is why we have PPE. So we're in the shed. Simone is standing guard. And this is kind of a fun little puzzle. We got to get out of the shed. Our inventory consists of not much. Because for once they took all our stuff away when they put us in jail. It always bugs me when games don't do that. And I'm trying to get you to stand. There we go. And there's something you might notice about the character sprite. His tie is missing. Because that's what you do when prisoners get locked up. You take away their ties and their shoelaces. All right, how do we convince Simone that we're innocent?
Lying.
We lie.
Whatever
yes.
it takes.
Gotta lie and say anything you want. Huge guy, a welding mask and a machete. I never wear a welding mask. Obviously, I was possessed by the ghost. Or Phil tried to kill me first. Now let's go with the ghost. That's not a lie. But she's not buying it. Let's tell her to touch the idol, and then she'll get possessed by the ghost, and she'll break down the door to try to kill us. And then we'll get out that way. They do mention that Trilby is over 6 feet tall. Yes. He is very clearly an author insert character. He is a very tall, lanky Englishman.
I thought Yahtzee was Australian.
No, he's British. He lived in Australia for a while.
Oh, okay.
He appears to have moved to Australia for the same reason I moved to Seattle. There was a girl involved and also get away from family. But he currently lives in San Francisco. He moved and started working full time for The Escapist. He's one of their main producers.
He's one of their content producers.
Yeah, he's been doing Zero Punctuation for fuck ever. Fuck. Now I feel old. Not gonna think about that anymore. But yeah, he's been producing a bunch of shit. The 12 games in 12 days thing. He just started a new debate podcast for them. I haven't listened to any of it yet. Philip tried to kill me. Maybe that'll work. But yeah, he is very fucking tall. And so, therefore, Trilby is also very fucking tall. The tie's gone. Jim recommended to take the tie so that he wouldn't hang himself. All right. Trying to reason with her isn't working. Maybe we just straight up tell her that she's doing a bad thing. Maybe we can try to guilt her into letting me out. How's that work? The real killer's still on the loose.
No, the real killer is right there. I mean, she's right.
That is exactly.
This is a very unusual situation that you cannot explain even to like people susceptible to ghost stories.
Where's Jim? Maybe we can use the child as a character witness. He's probably not going to want to be our character witness anymore if ever that happened.
Okay, well here's the real problem.
Mm-hmm.
We know the actual threat now.
Yes.
Where is the actual threat right now?
The actual threat is somewhere in the house being secretive.
And where's Jim?
Jim
Because now we have a problem where the object of significance here cannot come into contact with anybody.
Yeah. And maybe we should get back to it first.
I'm pretty sure, like, we tell the truth here. Like, like, we were possessed.
Yeah, there's a, was possessed by the ghost. It possessed me. There we go.
Yeah, lean into it. That's it.
The pain, the unbearable pain. Right here. Several times. Boosh. Well, whatever works, I suppose. And the emergency lockpick.
There we go. Just had to extremely gaslight her, that's all.
Yeah, well, you know, these are extraordinary circumstances.
It's never said that Trilby is, like, a gentleman. He just calls himself a gentleman.
Yeah,
He'll do some unscrupulous things, it seems like. There's not a lot of instances of this, but this is, like, pretty dire right now.
There's some heavy implication in later games in this series that he has seen the error of his ways and has to, like, make amends for being such a prick. And then the one we were talking about earlier, The Art of Theft, he's characterized pretty much as just the most arrogant fuck that ever walked the earth. Painting got very different.
let's immediately go check on the idol.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's back in its bell jar, where it belongs. Oh, damn it. Yeah, see, it's back in its bell jar. It's fine. They even swept up all the glass. One thing, no. Well, it appears the BBC have decided that they're not going to let their reporter disappearing let them miss out on the scoop. Some junior reporter just got promoted. That's a good response to trying to pick that up again. I like that. Alright, so the idol's fine. Somehow it got back into place. We're not going to ask questions. Maybe they wrapped it in a t-shirt.
Alright, where's AJ?
AJ's dead at the bottom of the pool.
Where's Philip?
Philip's dead in the kitchen.
Where's that kid's name that I can't remember?
That kid's name is Jim, and he is not in there.
Well, let's go find him, because if Simone's not around, where the hell is Simone?
She was
Look upstairs.
supposedly guarding. No one in here either. There's Simone. Oh. Oh, thank God. We'll hide up here. Oh no. I probably should have saved. This is the only place I think in the game where you can die. So we'll just grab this rope. Day 5. Yeah, if the killer gets to you, you die.
Yes.
That is the only time in the game where you have to worry about that. I should have saved. It occurred to me I was gonna fuck myself if I let him get to me.
Day 5.
Day 5.
Final day in Spook Fort.
Okay, we find the body.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you to save, but I didn't want to clue anybody in.
I didn't think that was going to happen yet. It's fine, because I remember.
Oh,
what
this
to do,
is
and
exactly
it's
where
fine.
it happens. We're at the end of the game now.
Yep.
But we got like 2 puzzles to solve, I think.
Yes, but before we get to that, Simone and Trilby are having this conversation under us. This is their.
Oh yeah, this is a check to see how much you've been paying attention.
Correct. Have you, the player, solved the mystery? What's the secret hiding behind all of the nonsense? It's this one. This is the answer. That is obvious. That is also obvious. That is a cop-out. And that's the secret. Thank you for the voice of dog.
So Roderick had more than one son.
Yes. And I don't need to say because Trilby will sum it up for me. And so will Simone. If you get it wrong, then Simone goes, no, that's not it. Sir Roderick had more than one son. Like, there's no stakes
correct.
to it. Yeah.
It's just a little check.
Yeah. It is a, yeah.
So you can feel smart. So you can feel good about yourself when you get it right. I'd say it's like kind of like the quizzes in the Red Strings Club, but those actually have some gameplay implications.
Some effect.
Yeah.
Where'd the other kid come from?
When you serve people drinks in the Red Strings Club, they ask you questions about them later, and it's like very vague things that you may not have even been paying attention to. So it's kind of really interesting.
For uncomfortable reasons, this is probably the closest to the Lovecraft answer. Grumble. But the actual answer is she gave birth to twins. Yes, twins.
Oh, the African love child would be the Lovecraft answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely would be. But that's not the case here.
Thank God.
It's just that I'm on a bit of a stream delay. That's why, because I can't see what you're mousing over.
Oh, yeah, because you don't have, yeah. I'm going to fix that for the next one.
That's fine. There's not like a lot of big audio cues in this game, except for, when the spooky music cues up.
Ah.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, kid would have been pretty messed up. No developmental abilities whatsoever, right?
Oh, yeah. God, no. No. It would have. It's a human tragedy. It's this one here. But fortunately, we're not going to focus on the human tragedy too much, and instead we are going to deal with our compilation Jason Voorhees and Leatherface and deal with him in horror movie fashion.
Yes. Well, we got to wrap this up somehow.
You can't reason with a ghost.
Well, then, that doesn't explain who buried all the bodies, then. And it sure as hell doesn't explain where the lost child's body went.
So,
which I remember. I know we're just getting to that right now.
Sure, and there's a fun story about that. Again, it's one of those developer commentary type things that hold that thought.
Okay.
So, excuse me. Here's a book on black magic for summoning evil spirits.
Cool. That's what we need. That one.
The arts of black magic and necromancy. Summoning angry spirits into their bodies. Murderous wraiths are nigh indestructible when they can hop from body to body, but tying them down to their old bodies returns them to partial mortality, a state in which they can be destroyed. Simply enough, place the spirit's original body in a place of fire and death, return it to its old clothes, then read aloud the following passage, omitting nothing. There's just a load of magic gobbledygook here. When I want to read it out, I should use the book on myself. Fourth wall. Warning, the summoning of a wraith will often bring forth other unquiet spirits who will haunt those who hold their possessions. Nothing to see here. So, we makes up the rules for the magic ritual, and then we does the rules for the magic ritual. But first, some scissors. I said scissors. Give me, damn it. There we go. Spooky figure on the horizon in the landscape. Also, this is implied to be the painting that Matthew Defoe presented to his father of the grounds. The one his dad was talking about in the diary entry.
Mm-hmm.
Ominous teddy bear. Final news report. Oh, wow. We got us a crowd outside. Okay, I need to get the key from the solicitor's office. But they're gonna come and get us. Hopefully we can just hold out long enough to be saved by the BBC. What if we just held tight? Waited it out.
Boy, it's a good thing somebody famous went missing. Otherwise, we'd never get out of here.
This painting is now just blank. And
Kid Skeleton had nowhere left to go.
Yep. And then Phil's body can just hang out. Sir Roderick? Matthew. Alright, and I believe we tucked Jim into bed up here, yes? After we knocked him out cold?
Yeah.
Oh, he's awake. He woke up. Hey, kid. Absolutely. I will happily take all of those things. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. It was me. It was me. I did do it.
Well, that was us.
Yeah. And then I tried to play with it. And next thing I know, my head hurt. Look, if you had just given me the teddy bear, I wouldn't have had to go play with wooden dolls, and then I wouldn't have tried to kill everybody. It's also important to note that Jim never actually did anything. He got possessed, but he got knocked out before he could do... Jim is still an innocent.
Yes.
Alright, so, gotta find us where the body went so we can get the ghost back into the body. Take these scissors, and we cut up this apron.
Okay, what are we doing with the apron?
Well, we cut a piece of it off, then those must be some very tough scissors, because once again, leather is not no weak sauce fucking material.
Sure.
And then we get us a mask on a strip, and we take that mask, and we hang it from that machete. And boom, we got us a magic dowsing rod for... I don't think they ever actually name him in this game, but his name is, as far as the series is concerned, is John.
It's John Defoe, as in John Doe.
I think in this
he didn't really have a name.
Correct. I think they just refer to him as the Welder in this one.
Yeah, he's the Welder / John Defoe.
Yeah.
If he's got a name at all.
Yes. Use the thingy. Make it all salty.
But I mean, the Welder seems like a really good classical, like not like monster, but like, you know, I don't know, maniac killer kind of character.
Yeah,
in like a slasher movie.
Yeah, he was making the game was meant to be more in the vein of a slasher, a Michael Myers, a Jason Voorhees kind of a thing.
Yeah. But with a supernatural bent. Kind of, I mean, Jason Voorhees was also kind of supernatural, right? Because he kills you in your dream.
That's Freddy Krueger. Fun fact.
Oh, Jason, yeah, I always mix them up.
Little bit of a thing. We got to wave it over where he sleeps, remember?
We know
this is where he slept.
Yeah.
This is where he everythinged.
This is an okay puzzle. Like, at this point, you've already done this, so it's just like, apply it to somebody else now.
Exactly. Same rules, different circumstances. Jason Voorhees is supernatural eventually. I rewatched that whole series a couple of years ago, and I always think of Jason as like the giant zombie slasher man. He doesn't become a zombie until the 6th movie. The first one, it's his mom. 2, 3, and 4, he's literally just some guy who lives in the woods in New Jersey. Like, he survived drowning as a kid. He never died. He just went and made himself a little house in the woods. And then 5, it's a totally different guy. So the major archetype that you think of Jason Voorhees fitting, the giant undead killer thing, is not applicable for 2/3 of his movies. So the salty mask is indicating upwards.
Upstairs?
Yes. And so here's the thing. The reason that it's upstairs is because when Yahtzee was designing the puzzle, it was like, okay, we wave it over here, and he would have died in this room, so he would just be in the same pile. That's not really a puzzle.
Right.
I gotta make that better somehow. So he's upstairs.
I see. So that's the reason why he's in a different spot.
Yeah, some dipshits bring Jason back from the dead. They literally dig up his corpse, stab him with a giant metal pole that gets struck by lightning, and he comes back to life. It's really stupid. Jason 6 is actually my favorite Friday the 13th 6 is my favorite Jason movie, mostly because of how stupid it is. Over to the right. Southwest. Do this thing again. Boom, tiles. And I think this time we actually do use the, well, never mind. Let's going to pull these tiles out with our bare hands. Can't pull them out with our bare hands.
Scissors? You could pry them out with some scissors.
I think...
If they're loose.
I think we pry them out with the machete. Maybe? Yeah, there we go. You cut the strap so that the machete and the mask are separate items once again. All right. You're coming with me.
I don't know how you're in any position to judge that, but all right.
He's Trilby. He's perfect at everything except for all of his many, many flaws. So, a room of fire.
He's also an anthropologist, I guess.
Yeah, and a cat burglar and a gentleman thief. To the room of fire and death. Fire. Death. Definitely saving here. All right. So, we got a body. Give him his helmet. Oh, it just puts all of those things on him at once.
The music has started up.
Yes. Time to end this.
Should probably save your game, too.
Already did.
Oh, you did?
Because this game has multiple endings. Stab. And one of those endings is we get gutted. So what was the other thing that the book said? Mentioned about how it calls other spirits back.
There's got to be a better way.
Better than getting gutted? But how do I destroy him? Maybe Jim has some thoughts. Really no thoughts from Jim.
Well, we don't need any thoughts from Jim.
Yeah, so let's use my magic foresight powers and see if we can just jumpstart this. Nope.
Wait, really?
Oh. I think it's a dumb order of operations type thing. Teddy Bear betrayed us.
How do we get Jim?
Can
we get Simone to do something for us first?
Yeah, I gotta get him into the room, and I think it might be put the body out. Then go get him into the room. You got the body. We have the accoutrement. Hey, do you want to come to my corpse barbecue? There we go.
Start the music first.
It's the spooky time music. Just because I said so. Come on. Now we can do. I'm pretty sure we can do multiple variations of this with Jim down there, but Simone not, or Simone down there, but Jim not, or any other kinds of combinations that all result in whoever's in the
Nothing
room
really
being stabbed.
significant though.
Yeah, it's all.
They
it's
all
all
end in
basic
the same
variations
way.
on guts.
If we
they
do
get
this
stabbed.
wrong, we get stabbed.
So the way we sort this out is we gotta stage us a little bit of a family reunion. Jim, you hold this teddy bear. Used to belong to some kid named Matthew. Simone, you hold this big gun. I'm gonna put it down in Simone's hands. Used to belong to some prick named Roderick. The end of days.
For the ritual.
Well, that doesn't sound like a very Simone thing to say.
We have shot the ghost.
Yeah, I could point out that you would never store a gun on a display like that while it's loaded.
That's loaded.
Doubly so over a fireplace. I could also point out that it's odd that they kept the fire going all week long. That they must have been doing that like on their own. But that would be petty to bring up those things.
You could also say it's really weird that you could immediately leave the house the second you shoot the ghost.
Well, it's a load-bearing ghost, obviously.
I guess so. There's a lot of silly things in this ending. And Trilby just fucking disappears, of course.
Where'd he go? Did he burn to death in the house?
No.
Oh, he's fine. My car was in the backyard.
Yeah, he didn't get his car.
Damn it.
That kind of sucks.
I like that. Who sent me on this job? Boosh, 5 Days a Stranger by Ben Yahtzee Croshaw. There's Fully Ramblematic. There's the website. I don't know if it's still up. Yeah, I would recommend, if you're interested, go download the files from there, or if not from there, wherever they might be hosted. I'm sure Google will be able to help you out with that. And play through the developer commentary mode is very, very interesting if you're like me. Basically, if you ever like watched all of those special features on the Lord of the Rings DVDs, and you actually enjoy that kind of thing, that's the wavelength. But that is 5 Days a Stranger. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Voice of Dog, for sitting through this with me.